Hi, this is Game Changers with Vicki Abelson. I'm Jason Reid, and this is Vicki.
Abelson. Well, it'll just take us a few weeks to get this right. Christinna, I think I didn't turn the sound off on my phone. So do we all have everything turned the sound off? I think I didn't turn the sound off on my phone. And I'm afraid if you touch it now, it's going to get off the cocked, right? So and then maybe go. So let's try it again, Jason.
Sounds like a plan to me, Vicki.
Okay, let's go. I'm busting his balls so bad. He's gonna hate. It's gonna be like my kids. Like, why does she do this to me? Come on, Jason. Let's do the opening of the show again.
I'm a little sore, admittedly, already.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Game Changers with Vicki Abelson. I'm Jason Reid, and this is Vicki Abelson.
Yes, it is. Hi out there. How are you? Hi, Jason.
Hi, Vicki.
I'm busting his balls. Jason is my handsome wingman here, and it's stressful because there's a lot. A live show is intense because there's a lot going on. We're doing all this stuff before we start, and I get it. And I think of it as being silly because I've been doing it for so long, but this is brand new for you.
You're good at it. Admittedly, there's a little bit of getting into the swing of things for me, but I'll have it in a couple of weeks.
I think you can, without too much preparation, be Jason.
I certainly hope so.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think this is a doable thing.
I think it is.
Okay, so I just want to say that, so last week I was talking about the fact that I had finally gotten my California driver's license after 13 years. I finally took the test and got so today I received my license. I was going to show it on the air. Do you know why I won't, Jason?
Why won't you show your video?
Okay. Okay, why?
I'm going to have some water.
There you go. Okay, so the thing is that I'm the idiot that goes on the dating apps and puts my real age. I do. I'm 62. I put that on there, right? But then what happens is all these people that I want to date, because I'm young. So yes, that's very nice. But so all these, so what happens is that all the most of the guys like in their 50s and 40s, they won't go that high. They don't want to go that high, so they don't even see me. But anyway, on my license, when they asked my weight, I not only told the truth, I added 5 pounds. I don't know so I saw my license and I'm like, so now I feel like I have to have a cop pull me over so I can say, I'm not really that is not true. Can you type that in and send that in, please, that is misinformation? So now I'm mortified that this weight is gonna be on my license for 3, and I'm on Jenny Craig, I'm gonna lose more.
They don't believe the age, they're not gonna believe the weight either. Don't worry about it, it's okay.
It's mortifying. Oh
you
my
look
God.
fantastic.
Well, okay, so anyway, it's been an interesting week for me, Jason, because since I saw it, and Christinna, hi, Christinna Guzman.
Hey,
hi, Digby. Back there taking video, taking photographs, being all fabulous. So last week after the show,
Yeah.
I've been seeing this guy. I've talked about him.
I've heard about this guy, yes.
He broke up with me on Thursday. I was on my way to go see him. Christina's jaw just dropped all the way down. He broke up with me, and he did it. I was literally about to get in the car within a half hour to go down and spend the day with him.
Yeah.
And he broke up with me. And
on your way down to see him.
I hadn't quite gotten on my way down. I was about to get on my way down, but it was pretty weird because it was pretty weird. I mean, not to say that we didn't have our challenges. We definitely had our challenges, but none of the challenges involved how we got along. We always had incredible fun and got along absolutely wonderfully. The challenges had to do with circumstance. But so I don't want to say I was blindsided because there were things, right? But I was blindsided that day. And so did I talk last week about the card that Stephanie Weaver sent me, the deck of cards to manifest, and the card that I read when I came home from New York said, change your story. Did we talk about this last week?
Very slightly. We touched on it.
We touched on it. Okay, so what the card basically said is whatever your story is, forget the pros, forget the cons, tell the story you want to manifest. Right?
Absolutely.
So I was telling the story how I had done it with the fob of my car and then it ended up working. So the next day, before I was going down to see the guy, that morning I did the story the way I wanted it to be, that everything was wonderful and all of our challenges were lifted, and then like 5 minutes later he broke up with me, and I'm like, this damn manifesting thing doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I realized it wasn't that. It was that I can't manifest somebody else's reality, number one, and I also cannot manifest something that is not for my betterment. The universe only wants what's good for me. So clearly that situation wasn't, and he needed to go, do what he had to do for him, and and I was forced to do what he wanted to do for me. No, and it's better for me too. So I had forgotten that a couple of months ago, Rumor, who is like, right, our favorite, and Christinna, you're allowed to speak. Oh. You don't have to be silent back there. You can laugh, you can speak. We know you're there. We want to hear from you. Right, we love Rumor. Rumor's amazing.
She's great.
One of the best singers of all time. She did a great Daryl's Place with Daryl Hall. Is it called Daryl's Place or Daryl's House? Daryl's House. Daryl's Place? Whichever one it is, with Daryl Hall, she did and they did an amazing version of I Can Go For That.
Oh, yeah.
Go for that.
That was brilliant. Fantastic.
It's just amazing. But anyway, so Rumor sent me this video. It was actually when I first started seeing this guy, and I was already having grief, already in tumult. We hadn't first started seeing him, but I'd only been seeing him because, that's another thing. When relationships are challenging at the beginning,
starts in tumult.
It didn't start in tumult, but within a few weeks there was tumult. That's a sign. At the beginning, it should be easy. Things should flow. What?
So it wasn't necessarily out of the blue.
There was a lot of.
There was stuff brewing.
There was
circumstantial.
There was always stuff, but the bottom line was that we just really got along great. We just really had fun and liked each other, right? So there was that. So anyway, but there was this tumult. So Rumor sent me this video that I can't remember the Reverend's name, but he basically does this little 3-minute preach. If somebody walks away, let them go.
Right.
They are not part of your destiny. They are not tied to you. If someone is tied to you, they will not leave. Whoever the universe, God intends for you to be is going to be. And if they leave, then they're not part of your story anymore. They're not part of your story. And you got to let them go. Let them go.
Yes.
And so today, when I was thinking about, telling you about this whole breakup thing, I didn't even push it. It's so weird. All of a sudden, I just heard the video, and the Reverend is screaming, "Let them go!" And it's like, and I'm like, thank you. I forgot about this video. Thank you, Rumor. It's like so wonderful, but it's really the truth, and it's not that the person is a bad person.
No.
And it's not that they did anything wrong, right?
Neither did you.
Maybe. No, I believe that I didn't do anything. I believe I brought pretty much my best. I made some. I'm human. We all make errors.
Right.
We all make errors in judgment. And if I had it to do all over again, would there be things I might do differently? Maybe a couple of things I might do differently, but for the most part, here's the other part. The other part is that if I can't be 100% who I am authentically, with all my mistakes and all my foibles, and if that is unattractive to someone, then I'm not their girl, they're not my guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be human always, and I'm going to make mistakes always, and I'm going to be human always. So if I find that when I really like somebody, the stuff that they fuck up is kind of cute. I mean, it may be annoying at the time, but it's never something that's, I'm not, it comes down to, I think, conditional and unconditional love.
Sure.
Right? And for me, love was very conditional growing up, and, if I didn't do, then it's not that the people close to me didn't still love me, but the treatment didn't feel very loving. And I hope that my children never feel that way with me. I hope they always feel, no matter what happens, don't do anything bad. That I will always love. So anyway, so I think that when people are turned off by something that somebody does or something's offensive, it's because it's not a good fit. Because when you really care, when it's a good fit, somebody's humanity doesn't get in the way. So I don't think it was my humanity that got in the way at all. I mean, it was mostly circumstantial stuff. But anyway, I didn't mean to go on and on about this. My main point is that I can write another story. So.
Hell yes, you can.
Right? Go ahead.
The other thing that is just coming to mind is, of the long list of things that are great about you that I've learned so far, is you are very authentic. She's laughing because she knows that's true.
Well, yeah.
You are very authentically you. So if you put that forward and some guy isn't finding that just fantastic, then absolutely move on. There's gonna be another a better one or a better 10 or.
Well, it's not. I thank you, Jason. Thank you.
It's
That's
true.
And I think it's less about better than just better suited for me. It has to be somebody that gets a kick out of it.
That's what better means.
Because you know what else was crazy? He never read my stuff. He never watched my stuff. He had no interest in my art. Now maybe it was self-protective because I tend to be a little too confessional. But I really want to be with somebody who really likes that part of this part of my life.
Somebody gets you.
Yeah, this is a huge part of my life.
Right.
And so, of course, my reaction to being dumped is to get right on the Bumble and right on the Tinder and open up the Hinge and fuck you. So.
Atta girl.
So right, because you got to get back on the B. You got to close the door. You got to shiver me Tinder. You got to do the stuff and just keep moving, because I can get paralyzed. Because the last time that I had a relationship end, I got paralyzed for like a number of months. In a way, it was a good thing because I stopped being obsessed with men for the first time in my life, and I focused on myself. That was another thing. I realized that because we were texting 24/7. I hadn't written an article in like 6 weeks. What's up with that? And like as soon as he dumped me, I've been writing for like 4 days. I've been writing like a little crazy person and getting things done. And that wasn't his fault. That was my fault. Getting too caught up. But anyway, so I got back on the apps, and what's happened is I've met a couple of really nice people. Nothing that's I've just met. And the first person I met is somebody that just really appreciates everything that I do, and is probably watching. Hi, Jamie. And he's lovely, and he's far away, but he's just been a lovely person. And there's somebody else incredibly inappropriate that I won't even name, age-wise. But he's lovely, and he's been making me laugh, and he's so much fun. And anyway, so there's life after heartbreak, and I'm trying to rewrite my story and to not focus on what hurts, but to focus on the story that I want to have. So I am in a perfect partnership with my perfect partner, who is in perfect partnership with me, having the time of my life, the best sex, the most fun, the greatest romance. There, you have it. So let's see how long it takes me to manifest that sucker. So what do you want to manifest, Jason?
I want to manifest this perfect guy for you. I think you're deserving of that.
Jason! This is why he's my wingman. I love him. Jason,
right?
Come on. What do you want to manifest for Jason? Truly.
Oh my God.
Putting you on the spot.
There's such an enormous list. Let's
One
see.
thing.
All right.
Let's put it out there to the universe. What's Jason manifesting? One thing.
One thing.
All right. While Jason's thinking, Christinna, what are you manifesting?
Oh no.
Oh come on, one thing.
I want to buy a house.
Buy a house. Okay, Christinna wants to buy a house.
That's a good thing.
Okay, Jason, what do you want?
It's funny you say that, Christinna. I was actually going to use that one myself.
Oh,
I'd
I'm
love to
sorry.
buy a house.
All right.
But you get that one.
All right.
So.
How about a car?
Car I got.
Okay.
That's
Come
not
on. I could name 30 things.
Okay, I got one. Record a really good song with a really good producer.
Okay, now the way we do that is I am recording right now a great song with a great producer. We say it in the present tense. It is our story. I
want a great house.
I bought a great house.
I bought a really beautiful
That's
house by the ocean.
There you go. It's not lying. It's manifesting. So when we
I
tell
like
our
it.
story, we catch ourselves when we say I want. Because you know what? When we put out to the universe, I want, the universe hears that and they don't give it to us because it's in the future. The universe only gives us what we know, what's right now. I'm making so much fucking money, I don't even know what to do with it. Anyway, but one thing that I do with it is I buy fuck off hairspray. Fuck off! Do I love my hairdresser? Nicole Venables of the Ruby Begonia Salon. Fuck off hairspray. You can get it from the Ruby Begonia Salon. You can get it from friendsbeautysupply.com. Do I love her? A woman after, and she just did my hair.
Beautiful.
And
Is that what you're wearing right now, incidentally?
I am not wearing any hairspray at the moment.
No.
But I am wearing other products of hers. And here's her purple shampoo. And here's her her leave-in treatment. Her products are fantastic.
Where do you get them?
And you get them at the Ruby Begonia Salon or at friendsbeautysupply.com. .com. And then also I want to talk about Rick Smolke for a minute. Rick Smolke is my angel. He is my hero. He has been an ardent supporter of Women Who Write from the first year, giving free swag to us, tissue boxes, our own tissue boxes, pads that say Women Who Write on them, all kinds of things. And he's made my bookmarks and my business, and my business cards.
That's okay, I need one.
There you go, and my business cards. And the thing about Rick Smolke is if you tell him that you are a friend of mine, you are a friend of ours, of Game Changers, of Vicki Abelson. Rick takes care of everybody, but if you tell him you're a friend of the show, he's going to take such good care of you. And they do great work, and he's a really philanthropic person. He gives so much to charity. He gives so much of his time and money and effort and talents. And those are the kind of people we want to support. So if you need anything printed for Nick's gigs or anything, he will take. He has never charged a band for their liner notes, for their CDs, ever.
Wow.
He does them for free because he believes in art. That's the kind of guy he is. So Rick Smolke, quick impressions in Chicago. We love him. So now let's talk about our guest tonight. I've left her sitting in the kitchen for like 3 hours. I made her get here early, and she's sitting in the kitchen for like 3 hours. Now we have to talk about her behind her back, to her face, because I can't see her, so it's behind her back. But anyway, I don't know how much you guys know about Cathy Ladman, but for me, I have been a fan of Cathy Ladman's for as long as I can remember, from her, Tonight Show appearances. Cathy was on Caroline in the City. Currently, she's on I'm Dying up here. She's got a recurring role. She's doing a play right now. I'm so excited. Go see Cathy. I'm looking at the name because I can't remember anything. But wait a minute, I got to get the name of the show right. Where is it? Cathy, what's the name of the show? Wait. Jews, Christians, and Stalin. Jews, Christians, and screwing Stalin. And we're going to talk about it with Cathy. I am so excited to go see it. Cathy is hysterical. She's not only a fantastic comedian, but she's also a wonderful actress. She's been on Modern Family. She's been on Gilmore Girls. This is the wrong thing that I'm looking at. I'm going to start reading somebody else's credits about Cathy. I know Cathy, and I know her work. And do you know, Cathy and I have done shows. We have done, this will be our third time together in this living room, but Cathy also drove with me up to Monterey, and we did Women Who Write, which Michael Nesmith produced, and we did it at the Henry Miller Library, and Cathy and I did a road trip together, 2 girls in the car, so fun. And then I did Women Who Write, we did Women Who Write in the street in NoHo at some arts fair, and she came and we were on the street doing our thing for 4 people. And Lori Lieberman, we were all there. So but Cathy's just one of those people that if I call and I ask, and if she just says yes. She's a yes. She's fantastic. And she's got the best smile, as you were noting before.
She does.
The best smile ever. She's gorgeous. She's talk about authentic. And the thing that I love most about Cathy is that she has embraced her humanity in such a profound way and made it part of her art in a way that is absolutely game-changing for so many people. A friend of our daughter's right now, and we'll talk about that too. And so now I want to bring out my friend that I adore, and one of the most talented, hysterical, fantastic comedian actresses in the world, Miss Cathy Ladman.
Yay!
Where do I go?
Yeah, you come here. Jason's bringing you a chair.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kathy, I love you.
I love you too, sweetie.
Oh, I'm so glad
I
you're
like
here.
the way your lips look. You tone them down.
They're better like this,
Much
right?
better, yes.
I just want to say, Jules Galley, it's your fault that I've been trying the red. Well, it's not your fault. I was doing it for you, and happy 25th birthday. Another one who is, not jailbait, but oh my God, have you seen him? Is he
No.
gorgeous? Oh God, he performed here a couple months in July with Michael Imperioli.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be cute. He's gonna
But
be.
you have something. You have a little.
I have schmutz.
Mascara.
A little schmutz.
A little thing mascara.
A
You're
little-
good now. You're good.
I'm
now.
good. So Cathy, since I just mentioned the show, tell
Yes.
us about Jews and.
Jews, Christians, and Screwing Stalin. It's written by Mark Lano and Joanne Astro, directed by Mark Lano, and it's based on Mark's life.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, growing up and living in his grandmother's rooming house, and in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn.
Oh, so you get the New York accent. So
Well,
now who are you?
I'm the grandmother, and I
You
speak,
are a grandmother?
Yes, and I speak with a Yiddish accent.
Wow, did that come natural? Did you have to learn?
It was nice. It came quite natural.
Oh my God, I
It's
can't
very
wait.
fun. It's very fun.
Did you have to study
You mean the accent?
the accent?
No, because from growing up with my grandparents, it just kind of happened for me.
Do you do voices? Do you do accents and dialects and stuff?
I have a pretty good ear.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good ear.
Mhm.
But this one in particular, this is very disconcerting.
Because you can see yourself.
I'm seeing myself at a different at a different time.
Oh right, there's a
space.
time. There's a time
There's a
lapse.
lag,
I'm sorry.
yeah. That's okay.
Linda
Yeah.
Apsey is saying hello. All right, so wait, I'm going to say hi to people. Let's look at the people who are.
Is that how you say her last name?
Apsey?
It is.
What did you say?
I always thought it was Abs.
Well, no,
Abs.
Apsey is like her nickname.
Oh.
Hi,
okay.
Apsey, but it's Linda Apsey.
Okay.
And there's Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Jamie, I
This
was
is like
talking
rock
about you.
world.
Did you hear? So wait, Curtis. Hi, John. Let's see, Charlie, Sharon, Eileen, Penny lost her pug this week. And
Yes, I know.
So much love to you, Penny. I'm going to cry now. I'm thinking about you so much and love you so
It's
much.
the hardest thing to lose
And
a
you
pet.
have babies that you have baby
Well,
doggies that you
Well,
love.
I had two, but Preston,
Oh, yeah.
we had to put Preston down 2 years ago. I know. It was
So you know exactly.
Oh, it's so hard. It's the worst. It's the worst.
What
Because
kind
there's-
of dog was Preston?
He was a little. I have rescue dogs, so he was
They're the best.
Oh.
like a Westie mix,
Mhm.
and Chappie is a Wheaton mix.
But Chappie's still around.
And yes, and
Mhm.
he's got some albinism, so he has a pink nose and very, very pale eyes.
He's a cutie,
I
though.
adore him.
He's a cutie.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so
So
let's
that's
go back
the
to
show.
Jews and
Yes, and so I play the grandmother, and
How are you playing a grandmother? It has to be very young children.
No, my grandson is supposed to be 24.
Your grandson is 20. Come
Yes,
on.
and I'm in my late 60s.
All right, I just want
But
to
in
say,
actuality, I'm
Mhm.
almost 63. I'll be 63 next month.
you and I are almost twins from different parents because our birthdays are like. If
Right.
twins could be 2
When's
weeks
your
apart, the
birthday?
29th.
Right, and I'm exactly 2 weeks apart, and I'm the 15th. Right?
So yes, we're like,
Right.
don't we look like twins? So okay, so you're playing older.
Yes, but I definitely. I mean, you'll see. I mean, I look older on stage. I mean, some people said you're too young. You look a little too young, but you'll see. I wear
A schmata, I saw you have a schmata in your
yeah,
hair.
and I have a thing, a little like piece of gray bun that I wear.
Oh, nice.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's very fun. It's very fun.
So I was going to ask, so with a title like that, is it, because I saw one photograph of all of you, like a cast picture, and
Yes.
it's very stern.
Yes.
So I was like, oh no, is this going to be a heavy drama?
No, that was just a stylized photo.
Okay.
But
Because you can do that as well. I
Yeah.
know that you can do that as well.
But I mean, it's a mixture. It's a
Yeah.
mixture.
Well, the best things are.
But it's based on his life growing up with, and it's about his dad and his wife to be, and anyway, you'll see it. But we're doing. I want to say that we're doing a benefit
Yes, and I'm going to be there that night.
on Monday the 17th, this coming Monday.
Which is September 17th, 2018, in case anybody's watching this at some other time.
Right. Thank you very much. 2018. Did you say?
Did I say a different year? Did I say the wrong?
You said
Did I say the wrong year?
17th. You said September 17th.
2018.
I think you may have said 2017.
Okay, it's
But whatever, it's 2018.
So, and who's the benefit for?
It's for Carrie Snow,
Love
our
her.
dear friend Carrie, who had a stroke recently, and she's doing great. Her speech is great, but she needs some physical rehab, and so that's what we're raising money for.
That's so wonderful that you guys are doing it. And so tell us about, for those of you who are in LA or in the neighboring area, you have 4 shows left.
We have 5 shows left.
Oh, okay, so give us...
3 this coming weekend, Saturday night, Sunday matinee, and Monday night. And then the following weekend, we have Saturday night and Sunday matinee.
Okay, so there's 5 shows left.
The 23rd is the last.
And the theater is the Matrix?
The Matrix on Melrose.
Okay, so I'll have the link for Cathy's show in the notes for this.
And a shout out to my wonderful manager, Judy Orbach, who helped facilitate everything. She's so good.
She's amazing.
She's great.
And what I love about Judy is that she has so much joy from her clients. I mean, she genuinely there's so much love and joy around everything that you do. Like every time you have a victory or any of her clients.
I know, she's so positive.
She's just so loving and supportive. And it's not, it's so much more than the money. It's not the money. I can tell it's the heart, it's the soul.
Yes, she really has a special connection with every one of her clients.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do.
I feel so lucky that, she's a friend also,
Yes.
but that she's my manager. I just feel really, really lucky.
That's wonderful.
And my agent's also coming on that night.
Okay, and
Jennifer Garland, Circle Talent.
And
she's been my agent for a while.
And she's been doing really good things because you've been
Yes.
working your ass. I just want to say, about a year ago, maybe it was a little more, you did the show when it was a podcast, when we weren't
Oh,
video,
right.
right?
I was on.
And you were on the and you did it on the
New
phone.
York. That's right.
And it was a different time in your life.
Yes.
It was right before things started to pop.
Right, but see, I have to say that in this business, things go
Yes.
up and they go down.
Yes.
Things go up and they go down. So
Always. But it's not just the business. It's you. You're different now. There's an energy about you now that's very positive.
Really?
Very. You're allowed to laugh out loud, Christinna.
I don't know.
No. Your vibe is very different.
I don't know. I still get really anxious.
Well, you're human.
I'm so anxious.
You're human. So, all right.
Okay.
So, all right. So we talked about the show. Before we talk about more current events, I'm dying up here and stuff. Let's go back because let's talk about where you come from and how you came to be funny.
Well, I think
Who's funny in your house?
Well, my father was very funny.
Yeah.
My father was really funny. He was also very, very frightening. He was so scary.
Wait, how can he be scary and funny at the same time?
Don't they go hand in hand?
What?
Doesn't that go hand in hand?
Sometimes. I don't think I'm scary, but he was really scary.
Like hitting,
like strict.
scary?
Yeah, he hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but he was very witty guy, smart. Both my parents were. My mother's still alive. She's 96. And
wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
It is. She'll be 97 in February.
Does she get upset when you say her age?
No.
If I said my mother's age, oh my God, I'd get killed. But anyway,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay. But
she looks unbelievable. My mother is so hot. My mother is gorgeous.
She is
by the way.
beautiful.
She gets on the treadmill every day. She looks amazing.
You just said.
She looks gorgeous.
She gets on the treadmill
every day.
Wow.
And she has like cute hair and cute makeup and cute
Where
clothes.
does she live?
She lives in Manhattan on the Upper West Side. She's a happy babe.
Does she live by herself?
Well, she's single now because she's a widow. Her husband died last year. So that's another thing.
But does she live in an apartment
she
by
lives in
herself?
she has a wonderful apartment.
Wow.
And except when I crash it.
Right.
And she gives me her bedroom,
Lucky.
which was very nice.
Aww.
2 weeks in New York. Okay, so let's get
Yes.
so your father was, what did he do for a living?
He was a CPA, but he is for my whole life he owned a bowling alley.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
With
stop.
three partners and then a fourth partner.
I had my own bowling ball when I was
Wow.
I loved to bowl.
Did you have one of those cloths that you used to go like that to polish it?
I didn't polish it, but I had the case and the shoes.
Oh God,
was.
Did you have a soft case or a hard case?
I had a soft case.
And you had the shoes?
I had the shoes. They
Where
were
did you
beige.
grow
They were
up?
beige. Well, in the Bronx and in Queens.
Right.
But I didn't get my own ball until I was like a high teenager. Till I was like 15 or 16. And then
Well, I didn't have my own ball or.
the shoemaker's daughter doesn't have shoes.
Right, but I didn't even want it. I didn't even.
You didn't want a ball?
You know, first of all, his bowling alley was 25 miles from our house.
Oh.
Where was the bowling alley?
Massapequa Park.
Oh, okay. So was he always there?
He was there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was there a lot. And he would leave the house at like 7 in the morning or something like that. And he got home at 7:30 at night.
So now, how did the humor? Because I'm trying to get the scary and the funny. I'm trying to think of anybody I know that's scary and funny. I'm trying to think of an example of a person that can be scary.
Maybe
and
it's
funny.
more sad and funny. People that
Sad,
are
yeah, sad
sad
and funny.
funny.
go together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is common. Sad
Right.
is funny. That I know. Every comedian I know is sad.
But
and
you don't
funny,
know
but
you don't know people who had strict fathers who were also funny.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of any offhand.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's interesting.
See if I can think of somebody. I don't know. I'm not gonna like sit here.
No, don't think about that.
Silence.
So tell me about your mother.
My mother was not funny. Is not funny.
That is
well,
funny.
She's funnier now.
Does she like to laugh?
Yeah, but she's not a good. She has a better sense of humor about herself now than she used to.
But isn't that true about that's true about me? I had no sense of humor about myself until I got sober.
Yeah.
And got in program. No, I didn't. No, I mean I was trying to be a comedian and stuff, but I didn't laugh at myself. No.
I have a good sense of humor about myself.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes, you do.
I like it better that way.
When did you know that you were funny?
Oh God, I was like 5.
What happened? Like, do you remember?
I remember like getting in my mother had this like one-piece bra girdle thing, strapless, and I guess that she had worn it the night before, and it was lying out in her in the bedroom, and I tried it on when I was 5, and I pranced around, and I got big laughs, and when I was a little bit older, a couple of years older, I used to do an impression of my elementary school principal, who was her name was Miss Carroll, and she was probably born late 1800s, I guess. And she wore those shoes that were like tie shoes.
That's
like
very
school
attractive. Very attractive.
And
Were they brown? Those were usually brown, weren't they?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I can't
brown or
remember.
black,
But
those
she
shoes.
would walk to the center of the stage, and she always had her hands clasped in front of her chest. And
Was she a nun?
No, she looked like she could have been.
It sounds like a nun. Yeah.
She spoke very quietly, like that. And maybe that was her way of getting the kids to listen. When you speak quietly, people have to lean in and listen.
Or scream over you, however, whatever.
That's also possible, but it's I remember when I was a teacher.
Yeah. What did you teach?
8th grade English.
How long did you
For
do that?
1 year. I knew I didn't want to do that, but I remember I got my wisdom teeth taken out.
Yeah.
And I was out of school for a week, and then I came back, and I was still really swollen, and I spoke really quietly, and I said, "Listen, I can't speak any more loudly than this," and they were so good. They were so good. But then it took maybe a week, and I was screaming after that.
So what was your impression of your of Miss Carroll?
Just Miss Carroll, I used to go like that. It was, it's not going to be funny to you now, but it was really funny when I was 7.
I don't know.
Because I was precocious.
Yes.
And
who did you do it for? Did you do it at school?
No, I did it for my family.
Okay.
I did it for my family, and then I used to do impressions, and then I used to listen to comedy albums. My parents had comedy albums.
So who were your heroes when you were little?
Well, Nichols and May. And I memorized. They had Nichols and May Examine Doctors. I still have the album.
You have to tell the story.
The Mike Nichols one.
You have to tell
All
the
right.
story. Cathy has a great story.
Okay. So I memorized this whole album. And
Wow.
and when I would go to sleep at night, I was about 9 years old.
I don't mean to make you look at me because I want them to be able to see your
so
eyeballs.
I should.
So yeah, tell the story.
Okay,
to
so
them.
I was
Yeah.
9 years old,
Yeah.
and my mom would come into my bedroom when I would go to sleep at night. She'd sit on the edge of my bed, and I would say my prayers. I can't even believe I said
I did the same
prayers.
thing. Me too.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
No, I had to say a Jewish. Mine was in Hebrew. Girl, yeah.
Okay, no, I said English ones. Believe it or not, I can't believe my mother didn't force me to say a Hebrew prayer, but everything was just shoved down my throat. So I said my prayers, and then I would do a selection off the album for my mother, and she didn't
Prayers first.
Right, but she didn't know what to make of it. You know, she was like, "Oh, that's nice," and she really had no idea what I was doing.
Did she sit on the side of your bed? My
Yeah.
father used to sit on the side of
on the edge of the bed, and then so then years later, I'm going to skip some steps to the story because I had an encounter with Mike Nichols for an audition, and then I had an encounter with him at the Comedy Awards, and he signed my album. But so I did 2 films with him actually, and the first film I did with him was Gary Shandling's film What Planet Are You From, which was not a great movie, but it was a thrill.
Experience.
It was a thrill to do. I had a scene with Annette Bening and my friend Bill Dwyer, and I did it together. But before we shot, we were up in the Antelope Valley at his private home, and we were outdoors, and Mike was setting up a shot with his DP, the director of photography, and
It's Christinna.
right, it's just Christinna. It's exactly the same thing, and with Michael Ballhaus, and I just randomly happened to be. Oh, I should. Let me go back.
Yeah.
One of the first cut on the album is called More Gauze, and it's about an operating room, a nurse and a surgeon in an operating room, and they're having like this, kind of romantic fight over the patient, and it goes gauze, gauze, more gauze, more gauze, more gauze, more gauze, more gauze, more gauze. More gauze. We don't have any more gauze. That's all the gauze? Yeah, I don't know what happened to the small little gauze. Okay, give me a clam. Suture, you have the suture. Sponge, you have the sponge. Eat it. Yes, I love you, please. So I'm standing, I just happened to be randomly standing shoulder to shoulder with Mike Nichols. And
Not the best place to be standing.
And he's setting up the shot, and then there was some quiet while they were moving lights and cameras around, and I don't know what came over me. I didn't even think about it, and I said gauze, and he said gauze, and I said more gauze, and he said more gauze, and we just started doing it. But what happened was I was playing his part, and he was playing Elaine May's part, so I got confused, and I said, "You don't know what it's like to be doing this with Mike Nichols," and he said, "You don't know what it's like to be Mike Nichols." And I was just so thrilled, and my husband and my stepdaughter happened to be visiting me that day, so I ran over to where they were, and but every time I tell the story, the hairs on the back.
Mine are.
And I told them what happened, and it was just the most thrilling experience. It had brought my life in a circle, from when I was 8 to when I don't even know how old I was then. I must have been in my 40s.
That is
late 40s.
That is
early 40s.
That's one of those moments that makes life worth living. That is so huge.
It really was a big. It was a big. It made my raison d'etre sort of come, crystallized.
Did his appreciation show?
He's
very dry, so.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at him.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. He had a lot of self-confidence. Let me say. He was very confident in who he was, so he wasn't
overly
gracious.
Okay.
But he was game. I mean, he was right there.
That is so
Not
cool.
not a second flag.
Oh my God, that is so cool. I love that story. Okay, so you know you're funny. You're a little kid. Do you do school plays?
No, and
No?
I didn't do school plays, and then I was so unhappy in high school that I just like my whole purpose was to get out of my parents' house and go to college.
Mm.
Everything I did was informed by that one goal. And so my head was in my books, and I just wanted to
Were you a good
graduate.
student?
I was a good student,
Mm-hmm.
and I graduated with accelerating. I accelerated in school, and so I was able to graduate high school when I was 16.
Wow.
Wow.
Had a weekend off, and then I went to college,
Where'd you go to college?
Albany.
You didn't go that far, but you went far enough.
But it was as far.
Right.
I had a choice. I had a choice between going away and going to a state school, or going to a free city school and
Right.
staying home. And there was no fucking way I was staying home.
So now, during this period of your life, this young period, I think this is during this period that you go to. Did you go to Israel?
Oh, I went to Israel the summer before I went to college.
Okay, and so something interesting happened to you when you
Yes.
went to Israel.
I
I know
met-
Cathy's entire life
I met-
story.
You're gonna hear the same stories over and
No,
over.
no, but they're such great stories. She's her ass is buzzing, so she had to check her phone.
Well, I just had to. I had to take it out of my pocket
Okay.
because it was.
All right, so
disconcerting.
while you're looking, I'm just here's Tyson, Warren, Molly, Harriet Shock. Hi, Harriet. Karen, Christopher,
Oh, Harriet
Eric.
Shock?
Yeah,
Oh,
Harriet's
hi, Harriet.
watching. Christopher Cilio. Oh my God, from the China Club in New York. Hi, Chris. Yeah,
You're
just
so popular.
no, it's for you. They're watching for you.
You're popular.
Yes.
Stop the bullshit.
No, they're watching. All right, so tell us the Israel story.
Okay. So I was 15, and my parents sent me on this teen tour to Israel, but it wasn't like a fluffy teen tour. It was Histadrut was the organization. It was
Okay.
real, Zionist kind of organization.
Down and dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Did you go work on a kibbutz while you were there?
Yes.
Yes.
But I was not very good. I was not good. I was not good. I gave Jews a bad name. Let me put it that way. I was bad for the Jews. I met my first love while I was there, and he was very funny, and I told him that he would make a really good comedian, and I was the first person to tell him this.
Stop.
I was the
That I
first
don't
person.
remember.
Yes, I was the first person to tell him this, and his name is Jerry Seinfeld.
Wasn't that a good kicker? That's a good story. All right, but the story gets better. Okay, so he didn't know he was going to be a comedian then?
Mm-mm.
And you're like 15, 16?
I was 15. He was 16 and a half.
Wow, that blows my mind because he started like a couple of years later. He started very young, didn't he?
He started when he was about 19, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he funny even though he
He was
wasn't
very funny. That's why I
just
told him.
naturally?
Yeah, that's what I told him. And then years later, when I wanted to be a comedian and I was too scared, I was like 25, he and I were in touch, and he said, "You'd make a great comedian." He mentored me.
Wow.
So we really helped each other.
Oh.
Such a beautiful thing. So
But I helped him a little more than he helped me.
All right, so he's not the Seinfeld we know. So how does this budding? What happens there? What's the budding romance like?
Well, interestingly, it goes back to my father's bowling alley, because my father's bowling alley was in Massapequa Park, and Jerry grew up in Massapequa, which is the adjacent town. His dad, Cal, was a sign maker, and my father had done business with Cal before, and so Jerry and I would rendezvous at the bowling alley, and sometimes I would stay over at his house, and sometimes he would come back to Little Neck and stay at our house,
God.
because he didn't drive yet.
This is
just post Israel. He didn't drive yet.
This is isn't it? It's mind-boggling. This is like a crazy story. And what is your relationship? So how long did you and Jerry see each other?
For a very short time. That time.
That time?
I broke up. Yeah, I broke up with him.
She broke up with him.
I broke up.
Does this make your mother cry to this day?
No.
She loves Tom.
Yeah, I broke up with him
Because? Come on, tell us.
I just
you didn't like him
wasn't
that way.
feeling it.
No,
I wasn't feeling it
You
anymore.
want it.
And then later on, when I went to Queen's College for a semester, which is where he ultimately went, then we started dating again. When I was about 19.
And so what was that like? So now he's
So it
already
was very different.
now he's already doing stand-up, but not.
No, he wasn't doing stand-up yet. You know what? I was 19, and he must have been 20, so he wasn't doing stand-up yet.
Okay.
He probably didn't start doing stand-up until he was like 21.
Until he got out of school.
He just maybe at the edge of school.
Okay. And so, what was it like when you guys were together the second time?
It was a huge difference between being 15
Hell
and
yeah.
19.
Right.
So, let me just say it was different.
So I guess
I'm not saying.
I love this story.
I don't kiss and tell.
So when you guys split up, was it amicable? Was it? Did you break up with him again?
I guess I did.
Wow, twice.
I guess I did, but it was more of like an understanding. I went back to finish my last semester in Albany
Oh.
because I was student teaching, and then we lost touch for a couple of years, and then we found each other again.
And so you guys have been in the same world for many, many years.
Yes.
So did you immediately fall into a comfortable friendship, or was it awkward at first? Like, no.
It wasn't awkward.
Always easy.
No, I mean he's a different person now than he was then.
Yeah.
He was enamored of me back our first time around. He was enamored of me. He used to write me poetry.
Oh my gosh.
This story just gets better and better. I love it.
He used to write me the most romantic poetry, and he used to want to do everything that I did. I graduated from January, so he wanted to graduate. I graduated in January from high school, and he wanted to graduate in January. And he just and then when I was working before I did stand up, I was working for this cosmetic company.
That's full circle
private
too.
label. I know a private label cosmetic company, and I was doing a trade show in LA, so I came out and I stayed with Jerry in his apartment in West Hollywood. But this was post, romantic relationship. So we were just friends, and he used to eat cereal in a big Pyrex bowl, and he called it his Jethro Bodine bowl. and Jim Brogan he and Jim Brogan lived in the same apartment complex.
Jimmy was just here a couple weeks ago. I just wrote to Jimmy today, as a matter of fact. Hi, Jimmy, if you're watching. I'm trying to get him to come do Women Who Write.
Oh, what was he doing here?
He did this.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did this.
fun.
Yeah, he was fabulous.
Oh, good.
He was terrific. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
But I didn't know. I don't know if he mentioned that he lived in the same. I think maybe he did actually. Maybe
It
he
was,
mentioned that.
I think on West Holm, I think it was.
So what's your relationship with
West
him like now when you see him?
Jerry? I never see him.
You never see him.
I never see him, but occasionally I'll get in touch with him. And
Is it like you have this is that bond from the
move in different
past?
circles.
Right.
You move in different circles.
Right, but there's that heart connection from all the way out there.
I feel like that. I can't say how he feels.
Okay.
I can't speak for him.
Men
but I feel
men
like
can
that.
be listen. Jason, are you sentimental?
Absolutely.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think there are men who are more sentimental and men who are
But
less
you guys
sentimental.
grew up together,
Um,
right? You knew each other when you're kids. Those are
Yeah.
special people.
And if he was enamored of you at 16 plus, he still is. There's a place.
He's
where
oh
he's
God.
still-
Well,
no question.
it could
I'll bet
be,
you.
and there could be. It could be a source of discomfort.
How so?
I don't want to get into this.
All right. I want to say though that
I don't want to speak for somebody else.
that's a good idea. I will say though that yesterday, as a matter of fact, I spoke on the phone with Paul Blumberg, who was my first love.
Oh wow.
And we have known each other for almost 50 years.
Wow.
No, we've known each other I've known him since I was 12. And he was the first guy that I fell in love with. And it's so lovely that it is 50 years later, and we still check in on each other.
Oh,
and we
that's
still
so
talk to
nice.
each
Where
other.
does he live?
He lives in Ohio. He's lived in Ohio since a million
Is he
years
married?
ago. He's married. He's been married a couple of times, as have I. But he's currently married and staying married to a woman he's in love with, and he has children and grandchildren. And I was best friends with his sister when his parents owned the hotel in the Catskills that we went to,
Which
Green
one?
Acres Hotel. My father was the master of ceremonies. And
Oh wow.
his parents owned it, and his mother ran it, and his father ran the back of the house. And yeah, he was my. I went up to him when I was like 12 with like puppy dog eyes, and he said, "When you're 14, you're going to be my girl." And when I was 14, I was his girl.
Oh wow.
He was older.
How long did you go out with?
Just once. Summer love.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
loved him
Oh
for
my
years.
God, what a great
How much
time
older
of
was he than
life.
I was 14 and a half. I was turning 15, and he had just turned 19.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Back then, it really was. And so he wouldn't even like look. He wouldn't like hold my hand or anything in public. Cause I was like, yes, I know.
That's jailbait. Yeah.
That was.
You know,
loved him.
Tom. I was just talking to Tom about this last night. That I was saying how when we were kids, how like months made a big difference. It's like, oh, he's older than I am. It's like, you know, he's like 2 months older. And but you know, now I have friends. Like
It's
I have a friend
decades.
who's 81, and I have a friend who's 23.
Yes.
You know, so
And it means nothing. It means nothing.
no.
But back then, it was like
Really,
it was
weeks
stupid.
meant to, you know, like Milan has a friend who's 3 weeks older than she is. You know.
hysterical. Okay, so you went through your Jerry thing. You did high school. You did college.
My Jerry thing.
Your Jerry thing.
My Jerry curl.
Your Jerry.
Yes.
People who are young don't know what that is.
The
I don't
Jerry
think.
curl?
Jerry curl. It's like do
Right.
they have Jerry curl anymore? I don't think so.
I don't know. We can look it up.
I don't know.
Can we Google it?
Can you Google Jerry curl? Don't you do
All
it?
right.
Okay.
See
So
what I can do.
Jerry curl. So okay. So how did it-
JH? Is it JHERI?
So did I mean, I got a teaching degree. I got a drama education degree.
And I got a teaching degree because this is what your parents say. You should get something to fall back on. Get it.
But if
because
you didn't want to be a comic yet, what did you want to be?
I wanted to do something in the arts. No, I knew I wanted to be a comic. When I
Oh.
was 13, I decided
Oh.
I wanted to be a stand-up comic, but it took me another almost 13 years to do it because I was too scared.
All right.
But I knew that I wanted to do something that had to do with the performing arts. But when I told my mother that that's what I was doing, she said, you should get a teaching degree to fall back on. Me having no confidence, I said, okay. And then I fell back on it immediately, and I taught 8th grade English for a year, and then I said, I don't want to do this.
I had student taught for my year, and then I opted to be a waitress and an actress because the starting pay.
Good for you.
Well, no, you've been successful financially. Oh, you're not. If I would have taught for 1 year, my whole life would have been my whole career. would have
1
been
year?
different. Well, you taught for 1 year. Look at, but starting pay for a teacher in Tucson, Arizona, in 1978 was $6,500 a year.
My first year teaching, they hired me as, this was my title, a part-time temporary per diem sub, which meant that I didn't get benefits, and I cobbled together a living by coaching sports and doing summer school. I think I made like close to $7,000.
Same thing, ridiculous.
And this was 1976, 77.
Yeah, so for me, it was 77 when I graduated. So yeah, the drama teacher was taking a sabbatical, and I could have got $6,500 a year. But I opted to be a waitress, where I was making $15,000 to $20,000 a year to be an actress. But of course, I waited tables way more than I acted anything during those years. But anyway, so you did the teaching for a year. When you left there, you're still not a comic. So what are you doing when you left teaching?
Well, what I did was I went out to California for a vacation, and I decided I'm gonna come out to Los Angeles and I'm gonna become a stand-up comic. That, in my mind, that was my excuse why I wasn't doing it. So I went to to visit Jerry in New York. It was the summer of Sam. I went to visit Jerry. It was 77. I went to visit Jerry and I told him that I was thinking about doing this, and he said, "Let's go over to Larry Miller's." So we went over to Larry Miller's apartment, and Larry held court. He had a big afro, and he said, "Yeah, you could do that," you know. So I moved out, and they gave me George Wallace's contact info because George was living out here, and he was writing on the Red Fox show.
Why did you think you had to come out here to do it when they were doing it there?
It was my excuse.
Okay.
It was my excuse. New York was too close. It was too viable. So I decided I would go all the way out there. That's why I'm not doing it. So I didn't go near a comedy club, basically. I didn't go near it. And I lasted out here for 4 months.
Okay, so what's the first set where did you do your first set?
The first time I was ever on stage was the summer of 77 in Philadelphia. I went on as an amateur at a club called Grandma Minnie's, and Joe Bolster was the MC.
I love Joe.
And Rich Hall was there.
What? Before Saturday Night Live?
Oh yeah, this was he was living in his car.
Oh God.
This is pre-Sniglets.
Wow.
Anyway, so I went on a couple of times, and then I
how did it go? How did it go the first?
First time it was okay.
Okay.
Second
did
time,
you have like 5 minutes?
No, I had like maybe like a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something like that.
Did you take a class? What did you do?
No, I just did those two, and then I didn't go on stage again until 1981.
Oh wow.
But what I did was I took a stand-up class with Dick Lord,
Wow.
and who died last year, and Larry Ambrose was in that class.
Oh God.
And that gave me the nerve to, and I actually re-met up with Joe Bolster, who helped me work on some material, and so Dick Lord said, "Okay, you're ready to go to Good Times." He would feed.
Good Times was my club.
He would feed all the comics into Good Times.
And I used to do it with Jimmy Brogan's brother. And he used to be the MC, and Rocco used to give me MC stuff.
Rocco, that's right.
Rocco
would let me MC on Thursday nights, and I finally had to beg him for cab fare one way. $6. He would give
You were
me
already
$6.
like a stand-up legend by the time I was doing stand-up, though. You were already like you were well on.
What year was that?
I started in '85.
Well, 85 is when I moved out here.
And you were already like a
person.
Yeah,
I was
you
already
were a person. He would give you cab fare one way.
One way. The other way, I would take the 104 bus down Broadway and across 34th Street to 3rd Avenue, and then walk down to Good Times.
Hysterical.
I would say, "Good Times, talk about misnomers." It was oh God! I mean, I can't believe. And I met Rob Ross there. The first time I ever did stand up in New York, I met Rob Ross there.
And his son Ben is about to do
I know, I'm saying it.
I have to get tickets. I saw it on Broadway, but I have to see Ben.
I didn't see it on Broadway.
Wow. I mean, I don't know Ben. I've never met Ben.
I've met Ben.
But,
I mean, I know Ben since he's little.
He's starring as Evan Hansen in Evan Hansen, Dear Evan Hansen.
Is that the title character? Is that
Dear Evan Hansen? He's the title character. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing Good Times. You're doing stuff, and this is in the early '80s.
This is 81.
Okay, and then so you have 3 minutes. How do you start amassing time? Like, are you doing it every night? What are you doing?
Well, initially I couldn't get on every night, but as you started meeting people, you'd find more outlets and stuff. And
what are you doing to make a living?
When I first started, I was working for a private label cosmetic company.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I started working one-nighters pretty quickly because there were ones to work, and I was good enough that I could do it.
So did you have to leave the city to do that?
Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
upstate New York, Long Island. So I mean, what did I have to make? If I made $300 in a month, I was sitting pretty. So.
Were you living home?
I was living in Manhattan. had my apartment in Manhattan.
How did you afford an apartment in Manhattan if you're making $300 a month?
Well, I made a little more than 300,
Okay.
maybe 500.
Okay.
My rent was $360.
So you was squeaking by.
I was squeaking by,
Okay.
and my father was still paying my health insurance.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I mean,
And
we really
how did your parents feel about you?
not good.
Yeah.
Although my mother was actually more supportive than my father. And I have a childhood best friend who now tells me that when my father used to visit them, her father and my dad were army buddies.
Mhm.
When he used to say how disappointed he was in me that I was doing that. He really, you know, the thing is that you know, my family can be kind of conditional in
Maybe you didn't hear the top of the show, but I was talking about that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you know, when I was on the Tonight Show, it was great. When I wasn't working so much, it wasn't so great.
Yeah.
You know, so
I understand. So okay, so how did it start? So you.
my mother will still say, "I had a dream that you were an executive."
My mother.
After doing stand-up for 37 years, being an actor, and I had a dream that you were an executive.
My mother's dream is that I marry an exec. All she wants me to do is get on J-Date and I see you with a businessman. I have always seen you with a businessman.
Oh man.
Yes, I married an actor and a comedian. It wasn't her plan. So, okay, so you're doing one-nighters. When does it start to happen that you're actually... So did success come when you came out here? Is that...
Well, you know, I came out here, I was with Steve Middleman, he was my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
We moved out together, I found us an apartment, we go back to New York, we break up. And then my father assumed I wasn't going to move out here.
Mm.
And I said, no, I'm moving in, I'm just going to wait until October. So I told Steve I want to keep the apartment because I found it. And but I was flat broke, I had no money.
Were your parents helping you?
No.
No.
And so the apartment cost like $750 a month, and it was way too rich for my blood, so I had to find another apartment. And actually Jim Brogan went around looking for an apartment with me, and we ran into Jerry on the street, and he got into the car, and he was looking.
Comedians in cars.
He was exactly. we were looking together, and he said, get a place that you can grow into. It was actually very good advice. And Mitzi, when I came out to visit Steve before we moved out permanently, it was in March of '85. Steve arranged an audition for me at the Comedy Store, and Mitzi passed me, and then I could work. I mean, I used to work like 6 nights a week at the
That's
Comedy Store.
fantastic.
And anytime I wasn't on the road, I was at the Comedy
Fantastic,
Store.
yeah.
And then maybe you know, less than 6 months after being here, definitely less than 6 months, just a few months after being here, she was really started working me in Vegas and La Jolla, and then I started to be able to make money, and then I was really making money on the road, and then I was doing TV, and then,
Okay, so how did the TV start? What was your first TV gig?
Well, my first national show was the very last Dick Cavett show on ABC. Carol Leifer, Richard Belzer, and I.
Wow.
And I was the only one who did a set because
They were too big?
yeah,
Yeah.
they really were.
Uh-huh.
And you know, it was on at something like 2:30 in the morning. That they were hiding the show at that point.
Right.
But it was really thrilling for me.
Oh,
It was
my.
really thrilling. That was my first national TV show. And then the next national TV show I did was The Late Show, but it was with Arsenio.
Uh-huh.
Joan Rivers was already gone.
Uh-huh.
And
Did
then,
these change your life? Did they start to change your life?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. And then other TV shows, you know, Sunday Comics and Comic Strip Live.
There were a lot of shows
There was
back then.
so many shows. And how I earned my health insurance the first time was when Bob Saget was co-host on the CBS Morning Show. He created a comedy corner, and he would get us on the show, and I earned my extra health insurance for the first time.
That's so fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, he did that for a lot of us.
That's so
Yeah,
fabulous.
it was great.
So, okay, so tell us about The Tonight Show.
Well,
with
apparently,
Johnny Carson.
I'd been seen for the Tonight Show before, and I was deemed not ready, which I'm really glad.
You didn't even know you were seen?
Not the times that I had been seen before, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that they waited to put me on, because the pressure on to do that show was really big. That was it. You know, the Tonight Show was it.
That was it.
And initially, I was supposed to be on. Oh, my voice just broke.
Well,
I'm like a 13-year-old boy.
You've been talking about Johnny is
I know, it's
nerve-wracking.
making me nervous. I was supposed to be on with Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got bumped. So then I was on with Jay twice.
Oh, and he was
which
a sub.
He was subbing,
Mhm.
which was good because then I did panel. So then when they wanted me to be on with Johnny, I said I'd love to, but I really want to do panel. So they let me do panel with Johnny. So
And so what was that experience like?
it was thrilling. First of all, it was the best studio. You would stand on the floor, and the entire audience was up. Your single camera was right in front of you. You know, when Jay took over and built his own studio, it was not.
I've been in both those studios.
It was not good for the comic. It really. I'm falling off the chair. It was not good for the comic. You were off to the side.
Mhm.
Your single shot was a jib camera. The audience was down and off. It was completely asymmetrical. It was not good for the comic.
I see.
It really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I only did that studio once, I think.
The Jay studio?
Yes,
Mhm.
when Jay officially had the show.
Mhm.
The other times it was in the old studio.
Okay, so tell us about So now you're going out there and it's Johnny.
I'm trying to think if that was my first time. This might have been my first time with Johnny. I get out there and I do my set and I go sit down with Johnny, and he says, he said to me, that was very funny, very funny. And he said, how long have you been doing this? And I said 8.5 long years. I mean, I really thought that was a long time. 8.5 long years. And he said to me, well, you're getting very good at it. And I said, thanks, so are you. Because I thought, it was like a knee-jerk reaction, because I thought, that's so condescending. That was so condescending. You're getting very good at it. And he loved it, and the audience loved it.
Did he love it?
Yes, he loved it. He loved it. And he was always very nice to me. He was always very nice, but he was an uncomfortable guy.
Yeah. Well, what were the commercial breaks like?
Oh,
Did he talk to you or did he not?
I can't remember. I mean, I think he was busy talking to Fred DeCordova, you know, the
Producer.
yeah, he was talking to the producer about what was next and what the next segment was going to be. So, you know, I didn't take it personally at all.
Was it the old days when he would smoke cigarettes on the set?
No.
It was past that.
Yeah, it was past that.
That must have been the '60s when he was doing that. Actually.
Yeah. Or it could have been the 70s.
Maybe. I don't remember when the edicts started, but.
I mean, I remember the Tonight Show when I used to watch it. It was an hour and a half, and it was in New York.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I used to put the screen on dark so that I could sneak watch it when I was like a little kid, so my mother wouldn't
You
know
would
I was
fix the
watching.
contrast.
I did. I changed the contrast. But you had to get up from your bed. You didn't have remote control. You had to get up and do it.
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I used to listen to my family watching That Was the Week That Was.
I loved it. Oh, I always
I used to
watched
listen.
that.
I would put my head at the foot of the bed, and I would listen to it in the next room.
They didn't let you watch. Oh, my mother let me watch.
I was too little.
Mm.
Well, I was the same age as you.
I know, but my mother let me. My mother. I had no. I was brought up by wolves. I did whatever I wanted.
Milan's been brought up by wolves.
Okay, so you're doing these shows. How do you get your first movie? What happens? How does that?
I can't even remember. It was just auditions.
So did you know right away? Oh, I'm not only going to be a comic, but I'm going to be an actress as well. When did you make that decision?
Well, I mean, at first I was doing the road too much, and I was too afraid to turn down the money, so I wouldn't stay in town enough to audition. But then I sort of bit the bullet, and I had to stay in town, at least for pilot season. And then I started.
Had you taken acting classes?
Yes, I did take some acting classes. I took a cold reading class, took a But you know, I signed up for a scene study class, and then I was on the road for almost all of it. You know,
Right.
It was stupid.
Right.
But my first pilot was a network pilot for CBS, and I did it with George Clooney. I know.
You know, I'm
know.
sorry, but the people in your life, you have to
George
write your
Clooney,
book.
Stephen Tobolowsky.
Oh my God, I love Steven.
I know.
Oh,
Phyllis Lyons.
what was the show?
It was a horrible show. It was called Hot Prospects.
Okay.
It was about a restaurant/brothel.
So was this George's first show or
It was.
up
It
there?
may have been his first pilot.
Mhm.
It may have been.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he'd done pilots before. I don't know, but he was definitely he may have done pilots before. He was definitely
No.
a commodity.
Mhm.
He was a commodity
Oh.
at that time.
Was he?
He was the star of the show.
Was he charmed? I
He was
imagine
a
he
doll.
always charming.
He was a doll, and anytime I've run into him since, he's been a doll. Such a nice man, and loyal to his friends, loyal to all of his friends.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I get
he's
that.
somebody that I don't think has changed much with fame.
Bridget, I love you. Bridget Clooney, his aunt,
His-
even though she's young. Like,
Isn't she a cousin?
are they cousins? I think she's his aunt.
Oh.
I don't know but it's close.
Right.
And
Okay.
I love you, Bridget. So George
I'm
Clooney
sweating so much.
and I think is it hot in here? See, I finally feel cool. I don't know.
I'm sweating.
Well, you're under lights. You got
It's the lights.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have like 9,000.
And I don't wear antiperspirant, I wear deodorant.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, antiperspirant keeps you from sweating, so I'm sweating,
oh,
but hopefully I don't
don't smell. You don't smell.
Okay.
Okay.
Smell.
I-
Yeah, smell.
So now, so you're doing so White Oleander. Tell me about that experience.
How did I get White Oleander? I'm trying to think. It was with Ellen Lewis cast, and she's a friend of Jonathan Katz. But I had auditioned for her for something.
You did a
else.
lot of Jonathan Katz.
Well, John, I did his. I did the pilot for his
Oh, wow.
Dr. Katz.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know you did a lot of Dr.
Larry
Katz, yeah.
Miller, Don Herrera, and I did the pilot for that show. And I'm
Fabulous.
trying to think. That wasn't. I don't think that was the first. I don't think that was the first movie that Ellen brought me in on.
Mm.
But it was a plot point in the movie, and I had such short hair. I had gotten a really short haircut. It was horrible, and I looked so bad. I really looked so bad. But it was still thrilling to do that. It was really thrilling to do it, and we did a table read, and everybody was there. And I wrote it down in an elevator with Michelle Pfeiffer and Renee Zellweger was there. And
Pretty sweet.
It was pretty.
Were they nice to
exciting.
you?
Yeah, anybody I worked with is nice. And what's her name?
You
Alison Lohman, who played the lead, the young girl,
Mhm.
was in every single scene. in the
Wow. Wait, you said everybody you've never worked
movie. No,
with
everybody in that film.
in that
I
film. 'Cause
worked
come
with.
on, you had to have worked with
People who were
assholes
nice.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there just are in
Yeah.
business, in
Oh,
every
yeah.
business. Okay, so, and
But
was
I'm
your
not going to say who they are.
no, of course not. So,
I'm
so
not.
no.
Don't do
So
that
your
on
so your
camera.
your first major recurring role, Carolyn in the City, was that your first?
Yes.
And so how did that happen? And that had to be a life changer. I would
Well,
think.
what happened was I went to network on that show to play the part that Amy Peets ended up playing.
Oh.
But they asked me to be in the pilot, to be a guest star in the pilot to help sell the show, and
Mhm.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was writing on Roseanne at the time, and then the next year they asked me to write on the show, and I said, well, I will if I can be on the show too.
Nice.
So
Nice negotiations.
So I was a recurring character on the show.
Okay, so let's talk about Roseanne for a minute.
I'm not going to say anything mean about her.
I'm not asking you to say anything mean. I'm asking you to tell the truth. So what was it like for you? Because
Well, I met Roseanne when I
Yes.
first moved here in 1985, She moved a little before I did. She moved from Denver, and she became a star like
The Rodney
Immediately.
Dangerfield thing. It was
Immediately.
overnight. Yeah.
well, no, it was when she went on the Tonight Show.
No, it was the Young Comedian special with Rodney. I think.
I think it was
before.
that.
Was that after? That was before Johnny. She did it with Bob Nelson, and I used to be in the left. I think that thing with Sam
Really?
Kinison and Bob Nelson and Roseanne. I think the Rodney thing is what made her a star. But I don't know.
Well, we can look up
Okay.
when that was, but I can tell you that in 1985 she did the Tonight Show, and
I think that's the same year she did the Rodney Dangerfield thing. It was
Okay, so-
right there.
so,
Yeah.
but she became an instant star
Yes.
after that shot.
Oh,
and,
right. I even remember that.
And
that
Engelbert
Johnny-
Humperdinck was on the show, and she started opening for him after that,
Oh.
and then she got the show
Right.
Roseanne,
Mhm.
and then I
So you
didn't
knew
see
her
for
as
a while.
you knew her as a
She
comic.
was delightful. Yes,
Yeah.
she was really.
So you knew her as a comic, and then she brought you on the show to write. Is that how that happened?
I don't know if I mean, they were looking for women, and I think Lois Bromfield floated my name because Lois was already writing on.
And how long did
Sure.
you write for Roseanne?
Just a year. We had a run in.
Everybody has a story about writing
Yes.
on that show.
We had a run in.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But
have you
then I
seen her
went straight
since?
to Carolina City. I haven't seen her in ages.
Okay.
Ages.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into controversial things like ask you what you think about what happened and Louis C.K. and all of that stuff, unless you want to have an opinion that
Well,
you want to put
Well,
forth.
you mean did something else happen with Louis
Something,
CK
well, just,
today?
yeah, no,
Or yesterday?
Yesterday,
What
because he
happened?
reached out to Roseanne. Yeah, he reached out to Roseanne to commiserate their situation and how, and the art, the basis of the art. Norm Macdonald put forth this thing yesterday that I read, like this article that I'm gonna butcher, but he was basically saying that only Louis and Roseanne know what it's like to lose everything in one day.
How about
yeah.
F.W. Woolworth? How about everybody who lost stuff in the stock market?
I guess of showbiz variety, although I think
doubt
you know,
I doubt it.
I
fucking doubt
and especially now, but they are two people who literally in one day kind of
Right.
lost everything.
Yeah.
And Louis.
But you know what? There was a lot of stuff leading up to it. A lot of stuff leading up to it. We only saw the one day turn.
That's right.
But all those days that
That's
he was
right.
jerking off, and
That's
all those
right.
days that she was acting crazy, all led up to that.
That's right. And so he's already putting
There were not two innocent people before that.
No, and he's already doing stand up again, and I guess
Yes.
he said like there was no remorse in the stand up, which has infuriated a lot of people. And you know, I'm actually shocked. I really thought he was going to be smart.
He's not at all contrite.
I thought he was going to be smart, and I thought he was going to come back and he was going to use it and become like a feminist and do something good and use his power
You mean do it like with
forethought.
Oh, you mean kind of like manipulatively?
No. I thought he was actually going to become a do-gooder from having lived that experience. And I thought he was going to use his power and his art and his intelligence and his talent to do something good for women after fucking them over. And I'm shocked that there isn't remorse and contrition.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised. It's not what I
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, it's
So,
sad.
yeah.
It's sad.
So Mark is saying Roseanne first.
Roseanne
Glasses.
first tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell us.
Roseanne First Tonight Show 1985 and Roseanne Dangerfield Special 1986.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mark Sweetman, and thank
But
you.
it's very possible that she shot the
Other ones
Dangerfield
first.
special
Mm.
before she was on the Tonight Show, and it aired in '86. It's very possible.
It's
because
possible.
she shot it. She did 85. It was late in '85.
Mhm.
I know that.
It's possible. Yeah, I remember that Tonight Show set now that I'm thinking about it.
It was when she did the domestic guys
right,
and
I
the
remember
Cheetos
that
and
Rodney show was whoa, Sam,
Yeah.
her, Bob, and that was quite a show. I don't remember, there were like two others and I can't remember who they were, but that was an amazing show. Sam, that was the first time I saw Sam Kinison, and that was a life change. Seeing him that night was an absolute life changer. What a guy.
Yeah.
Did you know Sam?
yes, from the Comedy Store.
I met him at that place in New Jersey, in Queens, a couple times. Linda's place, whatever that was called. But anyway, Jimmy's.
Jimmy's place.
Right. Jimmy's Comedy Alley or
Right,
something.
right,
I met
right.
him there a couple times, but
Right.
what a character. Loved him.
Yeah.
So you got Caroline in the City, and that had a run for you.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm still getting 12-cent checks.
That's nice. So
long ago.
So you've moved. So let's get current. So you did a spot on Modern Family. You've had like things.
I had a good year. I had a good year.
You had a really good year.
Yeah.
You had a really good year. So I'm dying up here.
Right.
So everyone you know is on that show. Like you know everyone. So what is that like when you're on the set and like Rick Overton?
Oh,
and
it's
Donna
just
Rivera?
so fun. It's just so fun. I mean, Rick and I work together. Dom and I never worked together. But Rick and I worked together during poker games, and it's so much more comfortable. And then it was also very surreal, even though it takes place a little before my time. It's still, I'm around young comics, and I'm like an elder, so it's very surreal.
Yeah. So, okay, Cathy, so before we go, there's one more topic I wanted to touch on, and that's your one-woman show.
Okay.
And so, and we haven't even gone anywhere near there, but this is a huge part of your life.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about why you wrote your one-woman show.
Well, I'm rewriting it now.
Okay.
Because I am a recovering anorexic. I've been anorexic since I was 19. And I really feel, and this is the hardest thing that I've ever done, and still, when it actually happens, I'll be more shocked than anyone. But
well, you've done it. I've seen pieces of it, and it's brilliant.
Oh, you're very kind.
No, I'm not very kind. It's the
Okay.
truth. It's
Thank
the
you.
truth. It's
But
brilliant.
the scary part for me is
Tell
that
the title.
does this show make me look fat? The scary part for me is that it's not all funny.
Right.
There's a lot of it is very serious because of the nature of the story and who I was growing up and what my family was like and why I became who I was. And I've learned through a friend of ours, I've learned that anorexia is you're genetically predisposed to become anorexic.
Is that so?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I just learned that because our
So you
friend,
test somebody to find out if they've got the gene?
I don't know how much advancement they've made in that, but there is some aberration on a chromosome that predisposes someone, but doesn't necessarily mean it will manifest.
But it's not like hereditary in terms of your parents are not necessarily anorexic, but they've got the gene, they've got the chromosome.
Right.
So your sister doesn't necessarily have the chromosome.
No.
Right, okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
And even if you do, even if you are predisposed, it doesn't mean that you could bypass it.
So environmental factors.
Environmental factors, familial factors. There has to be a petri dish that's conducive to it.
Can you point to for yourself? I mean, you've done a lot of work on this, so I'm sure.
A lot.
So can you point to when you first noticed it, or what the first thing was that?
Well, I can tell you the catalyst.
Okay.
What I always go back to, when it started to kick in for me was when I was in college. I was about 19, and I was very best friends with this girl in college, and we were almost too close. And we were in a living situation that we weren't very happy with. There was an apartment with 4 people, and we weren't very happy in the situation. Her sister was one of the 4, and her younger sister, and neither of us was happy, and And so I went down to my parents for the weekend and talked to my parents about it. And she said, you know, look, whatever you decide to do is fine. If you want to move out, it's fine. She says, I've decided I'm going to stay, but whatever you decide to do is fine. I completely understand. So I decided that I was going to move out. And when I told her that, she just stopped talking to me. And I never had an experience like that of feeling so abandoned. And that's when I started to really go on diets. And
so what's the...
And I was determined that no one was going to hurt me again, and that I was going to be perfect. I was going to be perfect.
So it was about, okay, so did you perceive yourself, obviously you must have perceived yourself as being overweight if you went on a diet.
I weighed a little bit too much for my liking. I weighed 127 pounds.
Don't start with me, I'll
5'4".
smack you.
All right. But I'm at a small frame.
I would kill. Anyway,
All
so
I'd like to see someone actually kill
yeah.
to do that.
I once said a joke about that I would kill Sarah Palin for something, and I actually lost a close friend who unfriended me on Facebook and unfriended me in life because I made a joke that I would kill Sarah Palin in quotes.
Really?
It was like some throwaway. Yeah, it was really horrible.
Why did you like Sarah Palin?
She did. But,
who needs a friend like that?
We're actually reconnected on Facebook now. But by the way, I just want to say in terms of manifesting,
Yes.
I sent an email yesterday to Hillary Rodham Clinton's person.
What? Say the name again?
Hillary Rodham Clinton's
Yes.
remote person.
Yes.
And he wrote me back today, and he said that he forwarded it to the right people. And so I will not rest until she sits in this living room. That's
Oh my God.
That's the thing I'm manifesting right now.
That's fantastic.
I-
You have her booked on the show.
I am determined because
She's already booked on the show.
Because that's right, she's already booked. Because I am determined that I can show her humanity that we haven't seen yet. I am determined because there is a mother, there's a woman in there that we haven't gotten to just chat with yet, and I
Right.
want to chat with her. So I'm determined. But anyway.
So what were we saying?
So you were talking about this. So it was the first time that you. So the sense of I'm going to be perfect.
Yes, and it really it dovetailed with the national obsession of being skinny. So
Oh, okay, but this is way post Twiggy and all of that.
well, it's not. This is 19.
I was 12 when Twiggy was around.
Okay, so this is.
But
it's not
Supermodels
that-
was still skinny.
Well, 19. So this when I was 19. This was 19. Wait, when I was 19 in
73 or something.
74.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, but supermodels were always skinny,
Yeah.
and they were extraordinarily skinny
Yes.
for that time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
I mean, they still are.
they
Still are.
They are.
It's a very sad thing, and I think that we've really got to wake up as a society and see and not be so shocked that young girls are doing this.
How have you been able to draw the line between why rejection got tied into food? Is it the chromosomal thing that pulled those two things together? I mean, why that? Why food and not, I don't know what else it could possibly be?
I was predisposed to this.
Predisposed.
You know,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was not predisposed to be an alcoholic or a drug addict. You know, any drugs that I did with such moderation, such moderation.
Good.
And I never really loved drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the rush that I would get from being thin. I still get a rush when I'm feeling like I have like a thin day where I feel thinner on a particular day.
Did you ever read that Stephen King story? It's a great story. Thinner. It's called Thinner.
No.
Oh God, I'm not even going to tell you. It's a short story. It's fantastic.
Oh, I have to read it.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not in a good way, but it's fantastic.
Is it in a
It's
collection
little
of
creepy.
stories?
Yeah, it is, and I can't remember what it's called,
I'll find
but
it.
it's really good. And in fact, Gabe and I had heard it on we heard Stephen King read it. It was an audio
Oh,
thing, and
wow.
we listened to it. And I also want to give a shout out while we're talking about this to our friend Ed Krasnick.
Yes, and he's actually the one who told me about the
Okay.
genetic.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Wow. So, yes, our friend Ed Krasnick, who is a wonderful man, a hysterically funny person, a warm-hearted and generous
such
and
a
kind
sweet
and loving man.
Such a god.
His daughter is suffering now from anorexia, and so they need some help and
And
support.
it is, you speak to any psychologist and they will tell you that it is one of the hardest diseases to treat because it's really wily. It's very, very cunning. We know
Because you have to eat. It's not like you can stop a substance.
No, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of dishonesty. There's just.
Yeah, but that's with every like with addiction, with alcoholism.
But you speak to any mental health professional, they will tell you that anorexia is harder to treat than anything else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I would think one of the reasons it's hard to treat is because food is something. It's not like alcohol. You can say, okay, I'm never going to do that again.
Well,
you have to eat.
It's hard. That's why it's a dicier recovery. But
the actual,
I'm talking about the psychological treatment of it is tricky.
So, it was writing your show, is doing this, is this a healing thing for you?
Not yet. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I am too. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday.
I love doing theater. I love it so much.
Want to do more?
Yes, but I can't afford, it's like it doesn't pay anything in LA.
Have you ever auditioned for Broadway?
No.
Why?
I just never had an opportunity.
Might be something to consider.
I would love to audition for something on Broadway.
I think you should.
I think it's going to happen.
I think it's happened.
I think it's happened already.
I think you're on Broadway.
I am on Broadway.
There's your Tony right over there.
There it is. Oh, wait, it's my water bottle. Okay. So close.
Cathy Ladman, I love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm
I
so
love you
glad that
too.
you're here. I adore you, and I can't wait to see you on stage on Monday. This Monday, I'm so excited.
Please come. It's a
Okay.
great benefit.
So Jews,
Christians, and Screwing Stalin. Go to place 411/matzo balls, and if you're going to come on Monday, put in a
Carrie
promo
Snow.
code carry or carry snow.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I forget.
We'll look it up and I'll put it in the notes.
All right, good, okay, and because the proceeds are going to Carrie, and there are 5 performances left. I would love for you to come see us. I'm having so much fun. I just love this cast so much.
All right. Well, and where can they see you on TV?
I don't think there's anything coming up.
All right, there will be.
Yeah,
There is.
Potentially,
There's
there's something coming up.
There's something coming up. You'll see her
There's
soon.
something coming up.
Jason, thank you for being the wingman, and then.
What a treat to sit in with you two.
And we didn't even let you say a word.
I didn't even look towards you.
We didn't even let
Barely
you say a
looked
word.
towards
We're
you.
like
I'm sorry.
two Jewish girls yakking away. Christina, thank you so much for being back there.
That was fun.
Being it.
Fun.
And we'll see you next week. Ooh, next week, Bernard Fowler, who has sang with the Rolling Stones for the last 30 plus years.
Wow.
He's the backup voice in the Rolling Stones. His song, To Thyself Be True, was the theme song of my show. It's the thing I grew up. His voice, I love him so much, and I have never met him in person, and I am so excited. I've seen him on stage so many times. I'm so excited. So Bernard's going to be in the living room.
Oh
next
my
week.
God!
I'm excited.
How exciting!
I am
That's thrilling.
I'm excited. And so and thank you, and I love you.
I love you too.
And we'll see you next week on. Ooh, that was on the lips. On Game Changers. See you then.
Was that okay? That was on the lips.
Yes. Are we still on?